I'm going to preface this animal symmetry with an idiom. The idiom is called the elephant in the room, and most of us are familiar with that term. What I'm going to demonstrate on my YouTube page over and over and over, a myriad of times, is that it's evident that the elephant in the room is an intelligent designer or a creator, a mathematical, omniscient person. Look at this image here. What do you see in this image? Again, this is a picture before invert of the human anatomy. And to kind of help out a little bit, I've removed the portions that don't apply to the symmetry of the animal. This is one of those cases to where a large percentage of the animal's body is represented symmetrically and proportionately on the human anatomy. In most aspects, what I've discovered is that it's a blending or an overlapping of animal symmetries going all different directions. In other words, if there's a rabbit geometry going this way, when you rotate it, the eyes and the head of the rabbit, when you rotate it, will rotate and form another animal this way, but the eyes of the rabbit will form the eyes of the animal running this way. The forehead of the rabbit may form a different part of the anatomy of the animal going this way. And this is happening all over the body, rotational symmetry. This is a supersymmetric. The human anatomy is, from a topographical standpoint and from an information, extant data that can be seen in real time, is a supersymmetric rotational symmetry that's beyond anything that I've ever seen in mathematics. And there's a lot of interesting shapes and a lot of interesting intuitive and complex and abstract thinking that's going on right now in the realm of theoretical physics with string theory, the Sussy project, M theory, holographic scenario, black hole theory. All these things, they're coming out with some very interesting shapes that are computer generated, but none of these applications can mimic. Maybe if all of this information that's found that I'm discovering is completely charted and mapped and organized and documented and put into a computer, maybe the computer can come up with some idiomatic or some deep algorithm that's being expressed geometrically. But I'll get to the point. This is exciting stuff. Look at the elephant. Look. Let me get my cursor in here. Top of the forehead, deltoid, pectoral, forms the ear. The armpit on this illustration shows the eye. You've got the face, the jaw, the cheek of the elephant. The indention in between when it's bended forms the mouth, and of course this is where the tusk would be. And for the most part, both female and male elephants grow tusks. Of course, elephants are a matriarchal society. Pretty much most people know that. And I've got some little interesting things here drawing into attention, the phonetics, the phonology, and the linguistic aspects of this, which is very deep. And before I get into the amazing phonetic comparisons and the animal terms and what they're named relative to what the human anatomy is named, is phenomenal what's going on, and it is beyond coincidence. But that has to come a little bit later after I demonstrate a large volume of the symmetries that are found. Then I'm going to direct attention to an associative profound phenomenon, which in essence scientifically allows one to predict what animals will be found by reading the muscle terms, the anatomical terms phonetically, phonologically. And will indicate what animals will be found in those muscle areas. But that's deeper down into the theorem. But look at the elephant. And of course, the arm forms the trunk. And it's interesting. The thing that the elephant grasps with, drinks with, eats with is the hand. Of course, I took out portions of the hand to represent where the trunk tip would fall. But the hand, which grips, of a human, which grips, holds, drinks, eats, all of that is the end of the tusk of what the elephant utilizes to grab onto things, to eat, to drink, to spray water, etc., etc. Going up the trunk of the arm. And look at the symmetry. This is proportionate. And again, mathematically, if you do the proportional, the ratios of and the distances, it all lines up. And I'm going to demonstrate that here in a second with the picture. But if you're still predisposed to say it's just the human anatomy, for the biggest cynic here, which we'll be breaking that down gradually over time. And when it's done, any cynicism or any doubt will completely implode before this theorem's over. I assure you of that. But look, basically, you can actually picture the legs right here coming down. And of course, then the geometry of the elephant seems to stop probably about right here. Enough is represented of the symmetry of the element in this part. When we start going beyond the center of the chest and start going over toward the other side, then it kind of breaks down. And of course, it doesn't break down. It breaks down and stops representing the elephant. But all of this information in here, when inverted, represents thousands of different types of animals, just as symmetrically proportional and exact as what you're seeing here in the elephant. But so let's just go down into paint. I've got a few documents drawn up here. First of all, I'm going to come over here and kind of show you what it looks like inverted. Again, I'm going to keep this commentary out of the subject for right now because it was kind of related to other subjects and other forms and rooms I was discussing in. But that's what the elephant looks like. Look at the eye. Look, follow my cursor. If I can get my cursor in there. Look at the eye. Look at that. Look at the ear. You can even see the neck and the semblance of the shoulder and the legs. This is the human anatomy, folks. Let's go down to another image. Now, again, if we're still predisposed, we just cannot get out of that predisposition phase, and let's put this elephant in its natural habitat. There you have it. That's a real elephant in the center. And I've just overlaid one side, the human anatomy inverted. On the other side, I've left it. It's interesting in this case that the color of the elephant is the same color of the human body, but when the body is inverted, obviously the inverse of this color would be this color. But look at the detail in the ears. Look at the forehead. It's almost as if it was animated. I could see and understand why people that don't have the control and the self-discipline and the grounded state spiritually, religiously, may actually get a little bit too excited about stuff like this and may even start worshiping elephants and worshiping snakes and worshiping rabbits and all that. I'm going to show you them all. They're all on there. Not to mention all the mechanical and artifactual images and idols that's found throughout history, religiously speaking. The elephant in the room is an all-knowing, omniscient, powerful, intelligent designer, creator, God.